Welcome to Essential Ingredients, powered by Next Gen Purpose. EI serves up thoughtful conversations with industry leaders and pioneers who support a regenerative future for our food system. The stories shared by our guests are meant to spark curiosity and inspire informed global change. Welcome to Essential Ingredients. I'm Justine Reichman, your host.
Nice to meet you, Elissa Goodman.
I'm
so honored to be with you.
And I'm so excited to have you here. I feel like we chatted so many times. I reached out a couple times.
Yes, we did over COVID.
Over COVID.
It was sad that we didn't connect.
I know. So I'm so pleased. There's so much I want to chat with you about. I feel like we got started on so many different conversations.
Right.
But first, before we even get into that, I'd love for you just to introduce yourself to everybody and let them know who you are. You're a nutritionist, you're a mom, you have a product, you do so many things. Maybe we could just let everybody know who you are.
Touch on that. Yes, I'm Elissa Goodman, and I, about 10 years ago, started the nutrition business. I'm a holistic nutritionist. I had gone back to school, I would say in my late 40s, to get certified in integrated nutrition, Eastern and Western. And also just to tell you, I had cancer at 32 as well. So 2 parents who had cancer, and the reason why I went back to school to get certified was just because I wanted to know more about getting healthy and strong. And I also wanted to be healthy and strong for my girls. I felt like we really needed to know what we needed to do to persevere through this trauma, and also to have them feel like they weren't automatically going to get cancer because their parents had cancer. So it was really fun because I loved what I was doing in school, and then right after school I got hired by Cafe Gratitude to put a food delivery program together. It was called A Cleanse. I knew nothing about cleansing, nor did I want to because I love to eat, so deprivation wasn't in my forte. But I did that for about 4.5 years, and then M Cafe, a year after at Cafe Gratitude, hired me to do their macrobiotic food delivery service for about 6.5 years. And then I did some food for the airport for Earth Bar, and a bunch of other restaurants, which I loved. And then clients were saying, why don't you make a cleanse for us, just with your own food? And I had a wonderful cook that was working with me. She was so talented. So we put a cleanse together, and we're now in our 8th year.
Wow, that's amazing.
And it's just in LA, and it's all fresh and organic, and it is plant-based for 5 days. And we give them a lot of guidance and help just to really reset their body. And it's the most incredible thing I could ever do. I also wrote a book called Cancer Hacks. So it's my story, because I healed holistically and I did some Western, and it's my husband's story as well. And now I'm working on anti-aging hacks, turning back the biological clock.
So an author, a mom, a nutritionist, a founder.
Yes.
So many things. So
never dreamed.
Always dream.
Yes.
I think that's it. Always dream. Always dream. So I'd love to just let's start with the founder story, right? Did you go out to decide, were you a founder always? Did you always know you were going to be an entrepreneur?
I grew up with a very entrepreneurial father and family. He was the real entrepreneur. Like in the early days, he was in the marketing advertising business, and he grew a communication company. So I was very in awe of him. And I knew that he was such a people person, and I loved people. And I was in the advertising business as well for years. And I knew that I always wanted to do something on my own, but I never dreamed it would be nutrition or helping people heal or get healthy. So it all just happened naturally because I had a passion for it. And I think that's what helps with entrepreneurs who really can be successful, is when you really love what you do, it's not work.
It really isn't. I think passion drives so many entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And it creates innovation. It supports innovation for so many people.
Absolutely. And I was lucky. I got into the nutrition business early. Kind of early. It was 10 years ago, 11 years ago. And it was just, Erewhon hadn't even come about yet. We all know how fabulous Erewhon is in terms of the number of products, and what they're offering people is just way ahead of most places in the country or the world. But I'd always shopped at Erewhon because I lived here. And I always went to a Beverly Hills Juice, was the only juice place in town.
That's where I went too.
And I juiced my way out of cancer, really, in that day. I've been juicing ever since. I'm a huge juicer. I also work with a medical medium. I have healed myself from hyperthyroidism and Hashimoto's. I'm just obsessed with health.
Okay, so let's talk about that. I'm really curious. So you, Hashimoto's, I also read celiac too. So when you did that, are you now in a place where you are so healthy and you do this? Is it to support you not to have it again? Are you now?
That's a great question. That is a great question because it's the same thing with cancer. We all have toxins in our body, and that's
Right.
I think why I love the fact of this whole cleansing lifestyle that I've created for myself and for people out there in LA or for people outside of LA. So just to lower the pathogen loads, and that's what all these illnesses are: cancer, autoimmune, diabetes. It's inflammatory, heart disease, right? So you really just need to lower the pathogen load, rebuild the immune system, get yourself hydrated. It's not that hard, in terms of, it's pretty simplistic. Eat real food, get nutrients at a cellular level. That's sort of what I preach. And that's how I was able to do it. I was able to lower my toxic load in my body by juicing, by eating real food, because it lowers inflammation, and by doing certain herbs that really do help antiviral and antibacterial. But it's still in me. I still have Hashimoto's. My antibodies are way down, but it doesn't mean if I had some trauma or some stress that happened in my life and I started eating not so well, sleeping not great, it could raise its ugly head. I think that always, is the case. I mean, I think these things like dormant in us. We all have cancer cells, right? So they might not come to fruition in our lifetime, hopefully not, but
that was a question I had. I was really curious. As I was reading a little bit about you, and I was like, I wonder if that's possible.
Mm-hmm.
So, as a nutritionist and as somebody that has clients I imagine you have a variety of clients.
Yes.
Are the majority of your clients looking to be healthy? Do they come to you because they have specific issues like cancer, or are they anti-aging? I'm curious, who are the bulk of your clients, if I can ask that?
No,
I don't want to pry.
That's another fantastic question, because that's what makes it so fascinating for me, is that I actually get to help all of the above. I help a lot of cancer. I even do a lot of stage 4 cancer, which is very heart-wrenching, I have to say. But so I've seen them heal, actually. So you've seen the Heal documentary, I'm sure you know all about that. I mean, there are so many different modalities that are at our access now. I mean, absolutely just, meditation and all kinds of breath work and energy healing and plant medicine. I'm a big plant medicine girl. You never know it at 62 years old, but it has changed my life in terms of, releasing subconscious thoughts that are sort of down-regulating our immune system that are negative. We all have some stories that we carry with us. And I think that's one of the biggest things for being unhealthy, is we are so hard on ourselves, we don't love ourselves, and we have these stories that, have created some anxiety or fear-based, or we live in a fight or flight mode, and that is so detrimental for our overall health, really. And then it becomes the food, and the sleep and the exercise that we maybe don't get. But I get menopause, and I get all kinds of cancer and autoimmune. I get a ton of anti-aging. I'm now obsessed with the anti-aging, because I did a biological test to see what my age was, and it was 51.4.
Wow,
so I was like,
good for you. Good for you.
Hopefully it stays that way, but it was pretty cool.
So, as a business person, you built this business to be able to heal yourself and also for your kids.
Yeah.
And you didn't do it necessarily, you weren't going in it to look at a business, you were going in it out of passion, but you built a successful business.
Yeah.
So what would you, that just came out of it, right?
It did. It did. I mean, I always, because a lot of people contact me to ask about how you got started and how to get started in all of this. And, if there is a passion for something that you do, most of the time, if you're a hard worker and you sort of know how to market yourself, that's a big thing. I mean, I was in the marketing business, so I was lucky. I did know how to market myself and all of that. And like I said, I love people, so I was out and about meeting all kinds of people to learn as much as I could. That's the best thing about all of this. I mean, I feel like I've really made my girls proud, and I could cry, because that's probably the coolest thing that's come out of all this. They're so proud of the fact that I built this from scratch, And they don't always eat so healthy, and I don't either. So,
Right.
I definitely love to live life, and I now don't give them a hard time as much as I used to. But I think that just to show them what we're capable of,
Right.
women as well in this day and age, right? And then to find a passion that they love and not just to be in a job that is just a job, is so incredible.
And to have an impact. I mean, think about the
Yes.
impact you're having
Yeah.
as a woman, as an entrepreneur. I mean, you did this as a single mother
Yeah.
originally, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And you took something that came from, your heart,
Yeah.
that you believed in to support your family, your children, from a place where you were probably scared
To death.
to death.
Scared. Yeah.
And you did this to heal yourself and save your family.
Yeah.
And you built a business.
Yeah.
And now what's you're growing this, but I heard you say you didn't want to grow it anymore,
Right.
that there was a finite place it was going. So talk to me about what your plans are for this, because you built this as you went back to school. So you were originally a nutritionist, but now you've built it. It's more of a business, not just a nutrition consultant. So talk to me about that a little bit.
Well, the cleanse is quite a business. We operate like we actually serve about 75 people per week in LA, and we deliver to them twice during the week. So the food is super fresh. It's all in glass. And I want to actually teach people how good it feels to eat plant-based. I'm not against animal protein at all. Some of my cleansers do add animal protein to the program because they can't sustain without it. But to get all these vegetables and vitamins and minerals and antioxidants and polyphenols to lower inflammation, 5 days you can totally reset your body. Wow. So these people are experiencing energy, better sleep, better skin. Digestion is a huge one. Their digestion is working better. They're going to the bathroom more. That's huge too,
When can we chat?
I know. So, it's just like, that's like in itself when I get these text messages, but I feel like, we're at 75 and it's pretty, like, it runs on really well-oiled machine. And I feel like, the money is great. I don't do this for the money. I just do it because I want people to heal and be healthy. And I want to give them hope that they can get past their health issues, just like I have. That has been the biggest thing for me and my goal. So what I want to do is write another book about, how we still can heal and how we can age gracefully, and how, we don't have to live with these menopause or sleep issues or stress. I mean, we have all these issues, or weight, that we carry and we can't get rid of. There's all these things that are happening, and we're nutrient deficient and we feel foggy headed. I mean, it's crazy. And we don't have to be, it's not supposed to be like that. We're supposed to be energized and feel good and look good, and like we have another many years to live, especially like at 62. I hope I live 30 more years at least, right?
Right, yeah.
So that's a lot of years that I want to spend healthy and motivated. So I think I don't know what's going to happen with the cleanse. I mean, if I find a partner that might partner with me and grow it in a way that we can still have it be fresh and taste like it's homemade and farm to table, that would be the ultimate. The bars do sell across the country, so that probably would be an option for me to go bigger with the bars, but they're very temperamental because they're fresh and frozen. So that can be tricky in the summer when it's like, 100 degrees and
supply
90.
chain and
Right.
sending them and delivery.
Yeah.
Right.
But I hope, I love my clients. I love being able to work one-on-one because I can tap into their places where they're at, where they're not feeling, even the stage 4 cancers. I can tap into their pain and give them hope, which is the most incredible thing. Even the other, clients that I have that are feeling hopeless with maybe a little bit of blood sugar issues or weight, I've been there. I've had all the health issues except for diabetes, I think.
So I'm curious, I'd love to just maybe share with some of the people watching or listening, what are some of maybe you could share a story of the impact you've seen with one of your clients. I mean, we're not mentioning names, of course, but how it's impacted their lives by being able to integrate this into their diet, into their life. I hate to use the word diet, but into their regimen.
Yeah. There are so many because, like I was saying earlier, this isn't rocket science of what I'm teaching them, and more, what we talk about also, right?
Right.
They're all the things that we know, but we kind of forget along the way what's really important. I would say with many clients, when I tell them to hydrate and properly hydrate, now there's one thing with we have an epidemic of dehydration. So our organs are dehydrated. We detox consistently and mostly through the night. So when we wake up, we're massively dehydrated. So most clients go right to coffee, right to tea, or right to breakfast. So when I tell them to drink 2 cups of water, even, like, how easy is that?
Right.
It is life-changing for them. They feel energized. They actually rehydrate before their coffee. They'll go to the bathroom. I mean, some are a little constipated. So also I have a powder that I love. It's a hydrating powder called Ultimate Replenisher. I've kind of lived on this stuff for 10 years, and it's full of macro minerals. Minerals are what help water go into your cells. So we always drink the electrolyte drinks with the sodium, but what really is important is the balance of magnesium, calcium, potassium, all of those things. So that stuff is incredible to energize, to give people mental alertness, to also help them go to the bathroom regularly.
Right.
I mean, that's huge. If I can get people hydrated, that's massive. And also detox. And the first line of detoxing is going to the bathroom, like full elimination. I mean, we talk about poop a lot, right?
Yes, we do.
Sorry about that. But yeah, that's the first line of, and you can't believe how many people don't go to the bathroom regularly. And going once a day is considered constipated. Which,
oh, really? I did not know that.
Yes. I know my clients hate me when I say that, but you're supposed to go after every meal. 2 to 3 times a day.
It's like at dogs, we take our dogs out every meal.
And they do.
And they do.
Their intestines aren't as long as ours, but still. But it's all about moderation and real food. We eat all this processed food. We eat all these fillers and chemicals. We even take them in our supplements. And it is wreaking havoc with our digestive system. So when I put people on a hydration program, when I maybe start them juicing, I've had a lot of clients juice, just simple juices, even just cucumber juice is full of minerals. It lowers inflammation in the intestines. It's life-changing. And then I get them on more of a plant-based, but not, vegan. That in itself is incredible because it has lots of fiber. So it's helping push food through the small intestine. Because it takes a long time for food to go through there.
Right.
And we have all kinds of digestive issues. So I worked with this one client. It's on my blog today. We did an interview with her. It's been about 2 years now, and she lost I think it was 26 pounds. And she had a lot of health issues. She was low energy. Weight was an issue. Mental fogginess was an issue. Menopause. And she's just a dynamo now. So she's a totally different person. And I didn't put her on a ton of supplements. I just changed her diet and guided her along the way and told her, you can get past this. You don't have to feel like this, and just gave her hope. And it was not that hard. But she also was willing to do the work.
Right. I mean, it has to be a partnership.
Yeah.
You have to have a willing You have to have a willing client. You have to have somebody that's motivated and that wants to have that change.
Yeah.
So I'm curious because I don't know if anybody's ever asked you this before, but I've heard that sometimes people say, when we juice, we have too much of that cucumber or too much of that celery, and you wouldn't actually eat that much.
Right.
Has anybody ever asked you about this before? Am I the first person?
No, absolutely. I mean, it has been fascinating because the medical media made juicing celery so infamous. There are, probably billions of people around the world juicing celery because of him. I mean, I worked with him for a year and a half. I was part of his practitioner group. Was one of the most fascinating and exciting things I've ever done. He is a little crazy, but he has a lot of great habits in terms of he's the one that talked to me about lowering pathogen loads.
Right.
And celery juice can do that. A lot of clients who have acid reflux and GERD and digestive stuff going on, the celery juice was really game-changing and helped them go off all their, acidic formulas. So, and also help their digestion, help SIBO and things like that. But, you can't get enough nutrients if you juice cucumber, you just can't get enough nutrients. The answer to your question is you can't get enough.
Right.
So really you can't overdo it.
Okay.
You can overdo sugar. we go into the store, and you even can go into some juice places, and there's apple in your juice, and it's 16 ounces,
Right.
and it can be up to 18 grams of sugar. So we only need 25 added grams of sugar a day, but one juice can be, 3/4 of what you need, and that's bad.
Right.
With the juicy.
Yeah, I don't like the really sweet ones myself. So I just want to wrap up with asking you, so what do you think is what's new and what's next in the space of building a better food system?
Good question. I hope what's next, and sad to say, a lot of people have had a very tough time with COVID. It's been a pretty fabulous time for me because it's the first time in my entire life at 60 I got to get off the treadmill. And then I really, over the 2 years, took really good care of myself, and I got to eat at home and cook real food and bring in vegetables and be really conscious of it. And I'm noticing more and more people are really interested in their health and want to get healthy, but don't want to have to take a lot of supplements, or some of them don't even want to have to juice. That's a hard, so I feel like if people are aware of, getting hydrated with, good water and filtered water and drinking enough water to make sure that they stay hydrated and detox their body and eat real food, 8 to 10 vegetables a day. People are going on that bandwagon. They want to get healthy. So I feel like hopefully they're not going to be eating as much processed food or junk, and maybe not drinking as much alcohol, things like that will keep them on the track, sleeping better because they maybe got to sleep better, de-stress over COVID. That's huge. But with the food system, I think, Erewhon has done a beautiful job at exposing what is available, but it can be overwhelming in terms of all the superfoods and healthy stuff. But I feel like going back to the basics, basics of real food, and hopefully going more organic, and just, like I said, staying hydrated, eating real food, sleeping, just de-stressing, figuring out those ways, hopefully, really honoring who you are and taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
And picking the right food for yourself that agrees with you.
And I think that that's the point, because there's no recipe that's good for everyone.
No.
I think you got to choose what's right for you.
Yeah. There's certain foods that are not right, like you were saying earlier, not right for you, that I could eat.
Right, exactly.
And when things do bother you, and you should pay attention to them and tune into your intuition.
I think so. You got to pay attention. If it doesn't make you feel good, don't eat it.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Thank you, Elissa, so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. It was great to have you.
It was such an honor.
And thank you to everyone that tuned in today for our podcast and our video cast. To learn more about these episodes and access show notes, go to nextgenpurpose.com and choose podcast. If you like this episode, head to Apple Podcasts or your favorite platform to subscribe and leave us a review. Visit the Next Gen Purpose YouTube channel to subscribe to our EI videocast and give this episode a like while you're there. Follow us on Instagram and LinkedIn at Next Gen Purpose, and connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram at Justine_Reichman. Thanks for joining us.